You're welcome. This is the Ministry of Reconciliation podcast. Today we have a special guest with a special name, Holy Sweat Rapper. I had a discussion with Holly before we started recording, and she has a very wonderful name. I don't want you to miss the meaning of her name, because some of you might be wondering, why do you call yourself? So we'll give her an opportunity to tell us what her name means, and then we will move on.
And honestly, really, right? Holly Sweat Rapper. People hear that, Emmanuel, all the time, and they go, is it sweet rapper or is it really sweat raper? And unfortunately, it's really sweat raper. So let's talk about the name. I was married to an incredible man, Dan Sweat, and 25 years of marriage, and I'm a counselor. I have helped hundreds of thousands of people to identify what their purpose is and walk in it. And so many of my clients kept saying, Holly, please write a book, please write a book. So I ended up writing a book, Secrets of Landing the Job. And anyway, long story short, my husband passed away from stage 4 kidney cancer. And so when I wrote the book, I wanted people know me by Holly Sweat. Well, in this later season of my life, God has restored in my life the most amazing man, Bruce, and I took his name on as well. But he had an equally terrible last name, Raper. So now I am Holly Sweat Raper. 2 terrible last names, 2 absolutely extraordinary men.
Thank you very much. That helps. And then don't mind. Your name is very great. Your name
it's memorable.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Holly is a psychotherapist, a best-selling author, and she has written many books. She has already mentioned the first one, and I highlighted one here for you, Created for Success, Purpose, and Impact. At some point later, we'll give her an opportunity to share with us where we can find those books globally, and also she'll be telling us her website. Today, we are looking at navigating life's most difficult seasons. Yes, would you like to share with us an experience you had that led you to focusing on this kind of topic?
The most probably devastating or experience I recently went through was, as I mentioned, the loss of my husband, Dan. And that is the catalyst of writing Living in Victory, Not Defeat. And it's like anything. It's how do we navigate life's journeys? And are we going to live in victory, or are we going to live in defeat? And if we can see the tragedies and the difficulties we go through perspective of heaven's lens, then it helps us to go through all that we go through. And that is the very thing that I talk about in Living in Victory, Not Defeat. Is my husband, after 25 years of marriage, we were having the time of our life, Emmanuel. Our twins, boy-girl twins, were in college. They had left. They were doing well, and it was just my husband and I, and we were just enjoying life. And all of a sudden, he was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer. And they didn't think he would live but just a couple of months. But God showed up in the most amazing ways, and we saw miraculous healing. I saw a tumor go down in my hand. The Lord spoke so clearly to us during this difficult journey. But even in that, sometimes things don't turn out the way we thought, but God is always working. He's always restoring. He's always redeeming. And the very things that we thought where Satan meant to destroy us, God can bring to make us stronger and give us victory. And honestly, I think no matter what we're going through, it is really, really important that we look at the difference between fact and truth. And let me explain that. The fact is, my husband passed away. The truth is, God says, death, where is your sting? So the world can say, Holly, aren't you devastated? You're a widow and you're going through this difficult time, which can cause you to be angry and frustrated and hit a depression. But my God says, Romans 8:18, I consider your current suffering not worth comparing to the glory I will reveal in you. And he said, death, where is your sting? He revealed to me, Holly, your husband is completely healed. He is doing well. I'm just not done with you yet. You will see him again. But meanwhile, you and I still have work to do here on on earth. And Emmanuel, I had people say to me, Holly, aren't you mad at God for taking your husband? And I said, well, that's a great question, but let me address that. My husband was an incredible father. And when the twins would come to him and they were hurt, my husband's response was either to comfort them or to make it better. Well, it's the same way as my heavenly Father. He's there to comfort or make it better. James says, I will not be tempted by evil, nor will I tempt by evil. It wasn't God who gave my husband cancer. So what happens is in life, we will have tests, we will have tribulations, but God has given us an opportunity to be able to navigate through the trials and tribulations just as his son did and have victory in it, to be able to see it in a different perspective. And when we walk through that, we become stronger. We have more victory and authority. I can now help people who are going through loss of a loved one, because I myself have experienced it. And they're looking and going, how can you still have joy? How can you still have hope? Because God wasn't finished with me yet. Because when we serve a God who's not just the God of the mountains, but in the valley. And so when we first got the diagnosis, Emmanuel, there were times that I was going, Lord, thank you that there's only 24 hours in a day, because I don't know that I can handle the next 5 minutes. I don't know that I have the strength to even hold on right now. I don't know what's happening in my life. I don't know what's going on. The person, everything has changed. And I would hear so clearly, you don't have to hold on. I'm holding on to you. When I was weak, he was carrying me. And that's the thing. I'll never forget. It was after my husband passed away. And it was 3:00 in the morning. And that's when Satan starts, throwing his lies. And I woke up in a just fear and anxiety and a cold sweat. And I kept hearing these lies that said, your husband was your financial provider. You're not. What are you going to do now? You have to sell your house. You can't live the way you used to live. No one's going to ever love you the way he loved you. You were completely alone. Your kids are gone. You're no longer a wife. You're no longer a mother, basically. You haven't been working consistently for the last 2 years. What are you going to do about your job? You're 57 years old. You're washed up. What are you going to do with your life? It's all over. Nothing is ever going to be as good as it used to. And I remember just laying there going, Lord, do you hear this? And I heard, not audibly, but clearly in my spirit, yes, I do. What did I tell you to do? And I said, well, Lord, you told me that I have more authority than the enemy. And he said, yes. So stop talking to me about your problems and start talking to your problems about me. So I said, Satan, get out of this house. You have no authority here. I am the daughter of the king. And then after he left, I said, but Lord, I do have to sell my house. And what am I going to do about my finances? And he said, what did I say? And I said, well, you said you would take care of my needs according to your riches and glory, and you have unlimited resources. And I said, but Lord, I feel so alone. He said, what did I say? And I said, you said you would never leave me or forsake me. And I said, but Lord, I really haven't been working for the last 2 years. What am I going to do about my job? I'm 57 years old. He said, what did I say? And I said, you said, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. And I said, Lord, I'm scared. And he said, what did I say? And I said, Lord, I don't know this one. And he said, daughter, I turned the water into wine at the end of the wedding. I've saved the best for last. Wait till you see what I'm going to do. And I said, okay, Lord, you're inviting me to trust you, even though I can't see it, but I know your character. Honestly, there have been so many moments that I go, Lord, how in the world could you take so much pain and turn it into purpose? And I'll tell you, when I was going, okay, Lord, how can I help people who are going through the very same thing that I have gone through? Give them hope, give them encouragement, tell them, I know it's painful right now, but it will get better. And so I started doing that. And in fact, Emmanuel, that's one of the things I'll tell you is we can get so caught up in our own pain, but our lives are bigger than just us. When we start going, Lord, who can I touch? How can I impact others for your glory? And we get outside of ourselves. That's the wine moment. That's when we go, wait a minute, we are bigger than ourselves. And God has created us for a purpose. He created us for impact and for success. And success is never about how much money you have and how much fame you have. What success is about is how quickly you rebound after you get knocked on your butt. And so it was being able to help others who have gone through that very thing. And then having a book, Living in Victory, Not Defeat. Never could I have imagined that I would write such an intense book about going through so many, not just the loss of my husband, but the loss of finances in your career and all of those things that hit us. And then how God can restore and heal all of those things. And you know as well as I do, so many of your listeners are going through that pain and they're going, how do I navigate? Is there really hope? And we can say, yes, while you're still here, he's still writing your story. I wrote Secrets of Landing the Job for anybody who is looking, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? And how to step into that calling. And that is on Amazon. That's available for anybody across the world to find. They just have to Google Holly Sweat Raper. And my new book, Living in Victory, Not Defeat, is truly, it's more than a book. It really is a motto of life that no matter what we go through, God will meet us there and he will turn pain into purpose, heartbreak into healing. And I go through so many different, just excruciating, painful moments. And times I really screwed up, but he loved me anyway. Time that I totally got it wrong and he redirected me. And so my prayer is that people see their own story in my book and how God showed up in their life.
Kindly tell us your website.
It's just Holly Sweat, SWEAT, Raper, RAPER.com. My name.
You're a blessing to us. Thank you very much. And of course, I was asking you whether you still have pain, and you had said no, and you referred to the healing, the evidence that God has healed. Yes, you.
Yeah.
And and of course, you must be feeling that God has been your strength because he wants you to strengthen other people. I think that's what I now know about you.
Here's the thing, only life is going to have terrible things happen to us. We lose our house, we can lose our finances, we can lose our loved ones, and so often we can just even question ourselves, my own identity. And so when we're going through that, the one thing that's constant is God's truth. When we say things like, Lord, I just feel like such a loser, He says, are you kidding? You are chosen. You are a masterpiece. And then you're going, but Lord, I feel so weak. He says, when you were weak, I am strong. When we're just going, but Lord, I'm angry. And He's just going, listen, anger, and it's fine to be angry, but have righteous anger. And so when people hurt us, reconciliation, that bitterness that's going to eat us up. So the forgiveness is not necessarily for the person who hurt us, because they might not think they did anything wrong, or they don't care enough to ask for forgiveness. The forgiveness is so it doesn't eat us alive. And so we know that hurt people hurt people. Forgiven people forgive people. And when we have gone through a difficult situation, we can be bitter or we can be better. Everything we go through is a choice. So if it is, you know what, I'm going to choose this day to walk in victory and not defeat. And that's what I pray, Emmanuel, for your listeners as they're listening to this, as they get hit from left to right. And in my book, Living in Victory, Not Defeat, I go through chapters of just Job stories, from my husband having a brain tumor and the cancer breaking his ribs, and then my mother being in a car accident and being in a coma, and then a deer hit my car, a car hit my house, shingles. I mean, it was like every time we turned around, something was happening, and we weren't getting a paycheck for, it was ridiculous. But God took all of that, saw us in all of it, and, and turned it around. You just can't give up, because we don't know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future.
Thank you so much. And what would be your final message to our audience today?
My final message is, in order to live in victory, not defeat, we have to be able to see things through an eternal perspective. Because in this life, it's short. I've been to the cemetery. You don't take a U-Haul with you. You don't take anything with you. The only thing you take is the people you touch, the lives that you love, and the impact that you make. And each and every one of us is created for a purpose, to love and to reach those people that are around us.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure hosting you on the Ministry of Reconciliation podcast. You're always welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.